know what you're gonna ask, so just be quiet. Is Uncharted Drake's Fortune a Tomb Raider ripoff? Let's see, exotic locale, death-defying bouldering, sassy treasure hunter. Sounds like Tomb Raider to me.
You make it sound so dirty.
Except it's not. Let me get this out of the way right up front. Uncharted is better than any Tomb Raider game you've ever played. The colorful combination of environmental puzzles and cover-based combat adds up to an A-list title for the PS3. Thank God, Ratchet & Clank were getting lonely at the top. Nathan Drake is an opportunistic treasure hound, but he's not all lantern jaw and Ryan Seacrest hair. Drake packed swagger we haven't seen since a certain cantina in Mos Eisley.
We either rescue him or we beat the crap out of him. Hell, I might just beat the crap out of him anyway.
Drake's character isn't a fluke. The whole game is imbued with a tongue-in-cheek attitude. Why else would every enemy truck come standard with an exploding barrel? The object of Drake's quest for things that glitter is El Dorado.
It wasn't a city of gold. It was this. It was a golden idol.
A golden idol weighing almost half a ton, worth more than all 4 Kardashians combined.
You make it sound so dirty.
Uncharted draws from the same well as Tomb Raider, but it's also equal parts Prince of Persia and Gears of War. Combat is cover-based. There's a lot of stopping and popping. Because of it, Uncharted feels more mature than a normal, mindless run-and-gun action game. But where Gears of War had 8-foot-tall bad guys built like Mack trucks, Uncharted has anorexic pirates. And trying to hit them with a pistol from 100 yards is slightly less fun than dropping an 80-gigabyte PS3 on my nutsack. Visually, Uncharted is clearly using all the horses under the PS3's hood. The color palette and use of lighting is stunning. The art direction is also top-notch. Uncharted turns what easily could have been generic ruin into a decaying Spanish colonial stronghold that looks and feels believable.
Does he always go on like this?
Drake's limits with the ladies might be boundless.
Whoa there, cowboy.
But his physical limits are somewhat murky. All too often, you'll leap into space, not sure if Drake's gonna make a last-minute save or fall to his death. Drake's adventure is not terribly long, but where Heavenly Sour's brevity felt cheap, Uncharted has enough time to play out all its tricks and get out without overstaying its welcome. Uncharted isn't an epic. The combat has aiming problems, and you won't always know why you fell to your death. But Drake's Fortune is still one hell of a ride.
You make it sound so dirty.
Uncharted Drake's Fortune uncovers a 4.
Whoa there, cowboy.
Out of 5. Imagine waking up alone on a deserted train reeking of betrayal. To escape this cast iron tomb, you must scale through the unfamiliar wreckage dangerously dangling over the sweet unknown. Hopeless and alone, you are left to a fate befitting of a treasure hunter, with an artifact in one hand and blood in the other. And this is just the tutorial.
Should I be flattered or worried?
Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, Naughty Dog's follow-up to the often underappreciated Drake's Fortune, is one of the best games you'll wrap your little hands around all year. This epic adventure follows Nathan Drake as he seeks the lost treasure of Marco Polo. Danger follows him at every turn in the form of a psychopathic war criminal who will also be scouring the same lush jungles and embattled streets for any clues to this fabled prize.
We cannot bumble our way through this.
I don't fumble, I improvise.
Oh, is that what you call it?
The writing, directing, and voice talent behind every cinematic is beyond remarkable. Characters possess both a depth and a sense of humor that's punctuated in every line.
5 minutes? Well, that's great. I won't even have to get my top off.
These non-interactive moments are personal and character-driven first, plot-determining second. Unlike many story-heavy titles, they never overstay their welcome as the player anxiously waits to get back into the action.
See you in hell, kid!
From every bullet fired to every punch thrown, you, the player, are shaping the narrative by engaging the game. The action is meaningful. No longer traveling from plot point to plot point, gameplay becomes an extension of the story itself. These elegantly designed and choreographed sequences maintain the breathless but never exhausting pace of the game. controls are spot on, making headshots not only possible, but a true strategic possibility. Uncharted 2 allows players to tackle obstacles through neck-snapping stealth or through pure bravado without penalty.
I'm sorry, do you have a plan to go along with that grenade?
Interactive environments further varies the ways the player can address each situation. With enemy AI more than willing to toss a grenade in your direction, survival will depend on constantly moving and thinking vertically for cover options. Wrap this all up in gorgeous graphics and amazing score, and at its frequent best, Uncharted 2 transforms itself from an exceptional interactive experience into a delirious act of pop art gestalt.
But there's more.
While it would be easy to dismiss the multiplayer, Naughty Dog has put in the same attention to detail found in the single-player experience. The real stars of the competitive modes are the multi-tiered maps. With so many hidden goodies to experiment with, one could characterize this as the first competitive platformer shooter. The co-op modes allow you with two of your friends to take on a mini-mission or wave upon waves of enemies in a horde-like survival mode.
Seems like I am always saving your ass.
Well, it is an ass worth saving.
Amazing story, immersive gameplay, lush settings. With the time allowed, I can only shower this title with so many superlatives, but you can quote me on this one. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves is the best single-player experience I have ever played. A much-deserved 5 out of 5. How do you follow universal acclaim? Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception takes the difficult route of trying to top its predecessor. The result is a game that has little equal in its writing and production design, but never manages to get out from under the shadow of Uncharted 2.
Well now, that's ironic.
2 years after the last adventure, Nathan Drake, Sully, Chloe, and this British guy they all seem to know from somewhere get caught up in a quest that finally delves into the origins of that ring Drake's been wearing since we met him in the first game. The ring is one of many clues that may lead to a lost Arabian city enticingly called the Atlantis of the Sands by T.E. Lawrence.
See, before Lawrence became Lawrence of Arabia,
Great film.
he was an archaeologist.
Uncharted 3 plays out in a familiar fashion, with its pitch-perfectly paced selection of precarious climbing sections, puzzles, and combat. Climbing sequences are heavy with expectations of what's to be found on top. Combat sections are tailored to the environment they occur in.
You get off on all this, don't you?
Combat is more dynamic in this one, thanks to an improved melee system that gives you more options when it comes to fighting off flanking enemies. It further enhances the series' already celebrated action movie-style kineticism. Our favorite new addition? Pulling an enemy's grenade pin. A new animation system uses context sensitivity to create small touches in character behavior. While it succeeds much of the time, it can also create an impression of instability, and occasionally the animation system seems to seize up and not know what to do. After the fluidity of Uncharted 2, it's a bit jarring. While the set-piece action sequences are dramatic and exciting, they feel somewhat obligatory and never match their equivalents in Uncharted 2. The burning chateau, the rooftop chases, they all feel like retreads of what we played before. The game has a hard time coming up with anything new.
I'm losing the plot here.
The one section that really stands out as something special is the cruise ship sequence, which actually does accomplish the task of outdoing any of the highlights of Uncharted 2. Competitive and cooperative multiplayer make a return, with competitive faring far better. The look and nature of the game offers a nice distinction from typical shooters, as does the level design and basic gameplay. The shooting, however, does not deliver an exact experience, which is key to a compelling and long-lasting multiplayer. Its appeal will be mostly as an alternative to the war-based shooters that dominate the market. The co-op is less successful. It tries to take on narrative side stories by cutting out the storytelling of the campaign and throwing you into uninspired combat sequences. The joyless scenarios all play out in the same manner, with 4 to 5 segments pitting you against bullet sponge enemies with limited AI. Uncharted 3's tactical prowess never ceases to amaze, but the beating heart that made it more than mere novelty is only intermittently present. While its predecessor was near perfection, Drake's Deception is merely great. And in this particular franchise, that counts as a disappointment.
Well, that could have gone better.
Uncharted 3 gets a 4 out of 5. All you need to be a treasure hunter is a flexible moral compass, really strong man fingers, and Uncharted Golden Abyss for the PlayStation Vita.
You know what this thing is worth?
First off, Golden Abyss looks incredible. We know the Vita is powerful, but squeezing the entire visual experience of an Uncharted title into a handheld is impressive.
I don't see that every day.
Drake is charming as ever, and the new lovely lady Chase is especially lovable.
All right, hurry, but be careful.
I get it. I'll be right back.
While the chapters are shortened to be more friendly to the handheld format, Golden Abyss still feels like a full-length adventure.
This isn't a war. You're just a petty thug trying to steal my grandfather's work.
The only problem is that while it's lengthy, it isn't particularly memorable.
Would you get lost?
The characters, mood, and music all feel like Uncharted, but it's missing the massive set pieces that set the franchise apart from other action-adventure games. Uncharted 3 has a jaw-dropping cargo plane sequence. Golden Abyss has a medium-sized bridge collapsing. It feels like you're playing all the filler areas in an Uncharted game without ever reaching the climax.
Last time we took the scenic route, I wound up in a ditch behind the Taj Mahal, naked.
This could be easily overlooked if the Vita controls had blown us away. Sadly, the updated controls mostly swap button presses for touchscreen prompts. It's fine, but ultimately unnecessary.
Too easy.
The touchscreen shines best when solving puzzles. Rotating map pieces is intuitive and fun, but most of the motion sensing features, like helping Drake balance and taking photos with your camera, feel more like a gimmick than integral gameplay. Golden Abyss shows promise for the series on the Vita. We just wish it spent less time cramming in gameplay gimmicks and more time creating a memorable Uncharted experience. Touchscreens don't sell systems. Amazing games do.
Sick of them climbing crates.
If you love the Uncharted franchise and are already planning to purchase the Vita, this is a fine title to add to your collection.
Okay.
Uncharted Golden Abyss will certainly entertain you, but not much else. A 3.5.
You tell your men to up their game or there's gonna be a lot less of them around come payday.
Out of 5.